Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this week. I almost said the market close, but welcome to this week. What a week we've had. The weekends. Why does stuff always happen on the weekends? But yeah, this weekend, peace talks. We got the peace talks happening. Well, we had them happening. They have concluded. There has been no resolution. J.D. Vance has left the peace talks, and Trump has pretty much said, let's blockade the Strait of Hormuz. So I don't know what that's going to look like, but he's talked about any of these ships that Iran has been charging a toll to let them through. They're going to stop them. I don't know how that's going to look. It's gonna be messy. So obviously, looking ahead to the markets, guess what? We're probably getting a red day tomorrow. Unless something changes, I can definitely see a red day coming. But, let's hear what you guys think. And we'll also take a look and see, probably towards the end of the stream, we'll be able to get the initial movement of oil. We'll see what that's going to do. This should push it up. All right. Starting off today, we have Ian wanting to know if he is late. No, Ian, you are not late. But Jonathan seems to think that you are. And Ian here is saying that, let me see, I think it means I'm actually early. So Ian is saying I'm early. And Jonathan is, holy banana bread. Jonathan's brought back in the popcorn. So, yeah, what can I say? Guys, if you're new to the channel, this is an English stream. I'm not sure why we've started off in Spanish, but it is an English stream. Although, I think in the replay, you might be able to listen to the whole stream in Spanish. I think that could be an option. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it is. Bismarcky is in the house with a happy Sunday all. We got Samantha with a hello, everyone. Let's see. Ian says, would have been funny if we kept going in Spanish and make Candace think there's a technical issue. Yeah. Well, the problem is you would have had to get the whole chat in on it. You'd have to get, you would have had to really coordinate it, but that would have actually been funny. I would have appreciated that, to be honest. Niece says, hey, of course, the deal free through to now we all suffer. Yeah. Sorry, the deal fell through. Yes, we are all going to suffer a wee bit. We're going to have to see how this is going to go this week. At least he's not threatening power plants yet. So there's that. Maybe that's the silver lining. Samantha says, if I knew Spanish, I would have played along. Well, if it's any consolation, I don't know very much Spanish myself either. I quite literally just took a screenshot of their conversation and dropped it in ChatGPT, and ChatGPT told me what they said. So I cheated, but hey, that is the beauty of AI, right? If you need to translate something fast, you can do it. King of Day says, hello, everyone. Volatility on the horizon, a little bit of snow. Oh, eek, yikes. Snow in Calgary. I don't like the sounds of that. It's overcast here. It's overcast here, and I think we're going to get mostly rain this week. No snow, luckily. All right. Elisa says, hey, everyone. Yep, is here with a happy Sunday, everyone. And Mark is in the house watching you and the Masters at the same time. Nice. Mark, I can confuse you for... There we go. Maybe that didn't work, but I thought I would try it. Yeah, the good old Masters. Larry says, Trump's playing 5D chess when you can't unblock a straight claim you're the one blocking it. Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to think of words. I'm trying to think of words to describe what this is, other than a cluster, and then there's a particular word I'm not going to say that comes after the word cluster. It's kind of that. it's kind of that. So on the bright side, if you've got money to deploy, tomorrow may be a good day for that. It may be. It's going to be hard to say. It's kind of funny. Like, we're in this point in history where these horrific things that keep happening to the market as a result of what's going on geopolitically, some of them are not, they're not hitting as hard as you almost expect. The fact that we have not really had a drop as bad as Liberation Day is kind of interesting. That Liberation Day tended to do it did it really good with all of the tariffs. And I think it's just that we're getting used to it. I think we're becoming desensitized to the chaos that the current administration is sowing on the world. So I think that's kind of where we're at. I think we're more desensitized. So will the market be red? Yes. Will it be as red as it should be? Probably not. Luke says, glad I trimmed during the last week's relief rally, holding 20% cash going into this week's wild ride. Yeah, absolutely. It could be good. And of course, if you're looking to ride oil this week, hopefully you got in this week, the week that just passed, because we had some pretty good entry points. Pathfinder, hi everyone. Any chance this stream could also become a podcast? I watch on YouTube on my phone, and it's in my pocket with the screen on the whole time. Could it be a podcast? Let me sit on that one, Pathfinder. Because here's the thing. I mean, I think it's just a matter of, do I have to, I don't know if I have to do that. I have to look at how that works on YouTube, because YouTube does have a podcast section. So I don't know if I can just automatically have this go into a podcast, or if I have to download it and upload it as a podcast. So I'll take a look at that. I'll see what we can do. I like that idea. Larry says, what's funny is Iran has a train link to China that takes half the time shipping oil does. It finished last year, so they are already prepared for this. Yeah, well, if you think about it in a way, it's kind of a smart move. So yeah, oil is still going to move. We do have, we have pipelines. We've got this train. So, it's just not going to move very efficiently. That's for sure. And of course, I think the whole idea of what Trump wants to do with this blockade is basically to not give Iran a way to sort of let their friends, pay for the oil and just pass it through. So I think they're just trying to sort of chokehold that on Iran to put more pressure on them to want to open up the strait. That's what I think the goal is. It's not a bad goal. It's not a bad goal. It's just, I just don't know if it'll work. That's the thing. I think Iran is a lot more patient than the current administration is. So, oh boy. Larry says, meanwhile, 7 days until Taiwan runs out of power. Oh, holy banana bread. Yeah, there's so much going on. There really is. It's kind of crazy. But on the bright side, our astronauts got back safely. So there's that. And a lot of people now have a new Earthrise screensaver, I guess. An expensive screensaver. Rory says, afternoon, could we see crude go north of 110 again? So I assume we're talking Brent. So where are we at right now? Let's actually, here. Let me pull it up. Actually, we'll go over here. I do have to share the screen. I did not share it before I came on. So let's just do that really quickly. Here we go. All right, let's bring it up. Let's head over here. All right, this is Bitcoin. I've changed up a little bit here. Now it's going to be white on the side just because for whatever reason, the new version, the new OS in Apple, if it's in dark mode, it turns all of my things dark. And I'm like, no. It makes it harder to see where I'm going when I'm looking at it quickly at a glance. So I turned off dark mode, and this is kind of what it looks like without dark mode. But here's what we wanted to see. We wanted to take a look here at where we're sitting at with, oh, I like this. I like how it's got that nice line around Bitcoin, which we're looking at over here on the side. But yeah, currently WTI is sitting at $90. Well, $90.03. Technically $90.04 because you normally will round that up. And Brent is sitting here at $96.18. So 110. Could we get that tomorrow? Yeah, we could. I think what we're going to see, though, is towards the end of the stream, like I said, once we get, I think it's at 6 p.m. Is it 6 p.m. Eastern? I think that's when we start getting. Now, I won't get Brent on here, but we'll see WTI. And obviously, if WTI starts going up, we know that Brent is doing the same thing, as well. All right, let's see here. Larry, Singapore, $230 a barrel. Holy banana bread. I certainly hope Brent doesn't make it that far, because that would be that would not be fun. That would not be fun for sure. Holy cow. All right. Just give me a second here. There we go. Lance is in the house with a good afternoon, everyone. Why, hello. We got Claudia in with a hello, everyone, and happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to you as well. And wow. Oh, boy. Oops. Something just popped up over here. Let me just remove it. There we go. I think it almost removed. No, it didn't. It's sitting in my chat box. All right. Ignore this, guys. I'm just getting rid of it the easy way, I think. Oh, no, never mind. It didn't do it. All right, good. All right. Rory, I asked ChatGPT about IR decision coming up. It told me it will probably hold. I don't think it will. All right, so yeah, we got it coming up on the 29th. And looking at, we had job numbers. Job numbers dropped on Friday. They weren't good. They were pretty weak. And this is the thing. You could say, oh, but they mostly met with expectations. Well, the expectations weren't good. So you have to look at it that way too. So, we got unemployment sitting at 6.7. One of the things you have to realize with that unemployment is that it doesn't count everybody who's not working. Pretty much it counts people who are drawing unemployment. That's where that data is coming from. So there are people who have given up, who aren't looking anymore. Those people are not getting counted in that list. So, it is something to sort of keep in mind here. Let me see here. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. All right. King of Day says, I hit the like button before Mary got on my case. Nice. Yeah, guys, if you are here and you have not yet hit the like button, here's your friendly reminder, just to give it a good old tap here before Mary comes in and makes me take a hard look at the like button. But anyway, going back to the jobs. I'm still on the jobs for a second. One group of people is getting hit really, really hard, and that is youth. Youth is getting hit. So we're talking, I think it's 15, is it 15 to 24? So the unemployment rate in youth, it's double digits. It's like 13. I believe it's roughly 13%. So it's pretty rough out there if you are looking, and I think it was rough last year for students who wanted summer jobs, or just, people who are just starting to hit the workforce, trying to get off the ground. So it's pretty rough for those folks for sure. Yeah, I guess we'll call them, those would be like the Z's, right? The Zoomers. Tough for the Zoomers. I think the millennials are okay for the most part, but yeah, what can I say? Niece says thumbs up to that. Thank you, Niece. Thank you kindly. Pathfinder, a like button hit. Nice. Rory, Mary will kick us out if we don't. Actually, she has that ability. I did give her moderatorship. So It was more or less like if she's the official captain of the like button, right? She needs to have that little thing next to her. I don't think Mary would ever kick any of you guys out, but it's better safe than sorry. Rory, either way, on the 29, I will restructure my GIC to whatever percentage I can get. All right, fair enough, fair enough. So yeah, going back to that, I know I went into the unemployment report, but I'm kind of still leaning towards that pause. I'm leaning towards that pause, but I think in their speech, they're going to be very. I think they're going to be very hawkish towards another rate hike, and they're gonna lay it out that it's a very good possibility. So we did see, for example, we have seen the U.S. CPI came out this week, and the oil inflation is starting to come in. It's starting to pop on in. In fact, here, let's take a look at it. Here we go. I'm just going to bring up a new page here. We'll go reports, U.S. calendar. Here we go. U.S. calendar right here. Let's see here. That's showing me next week's. I think, where's last week's? Here we are, down in here. Right here. Yeah, so here we go. So right now, when you look at, this is the PCE. All right, I thought the PCI came out. Yeah, here it is. I heard the PCI, sorry, the CPI. So yeah, I mean, looking at it right now, this is the big highlight number here, year over year, right here. So last month, their year over year was at 2.4%. It rose to 3.3%. So that, that 0.9% that we've seen it go up, that is, that's mostly going to be oil-based inflation. So as oil is choked, as world oil is choked, we're going to see gas go up. And right now, and I know right now some of you have probably seen gas come down a little bit, but that could be very, very temporary. Gas could flip very fast, especially if we get a huge pump in the price of oil this week. And if all of a sudden this thing just doesn't, if we don't get any hope of, the talks getting back on. So I'm hoping we can sort of turn it around and figure something out. But right now, not so much. So, yeah. What can I say? That's all. It's, you know what it is now, guys. I have to keep taking these screenshots over here to find out what you're saying. It does delay me a tiny bit. So those awkward little pauses are because I'm translating. So Kevin says, God bless you. God bless you. God bless all of you. Kevin is now going to be renamed Little Tim. Just kidding. Thank you very much, Kevin. Lance says, I haven't been able to watch a lot of news while at work. What is Trump's plan after they sweep for those mines in the Strait? Will some ships risk it? And that's the thing. Nobody really knows where all of the mines are. I don't even know if Iran remembers where they put all the mines, the ones that did make it in. Now, a lot of mines were blown up. So the U.S. did get rid of it. And the U.S. also blew up some of the mine sweepers that were going in to drop the mines in. So are those the sweepers, or do you call them mine deployers? I honestly, I don't know. But yeah, so I think the U.S. right now just wants nobody moving through. Now, I think if a ship comes through without paying a toll, they might let them through. I think they're really, really not wanting Iran just to make any money off of those tolls. Now, there is other stuff involved here too. Apparently, China has gotten into it a little bit. They have supplied weapons. So they have actually sent some weapons off to Iran. So, but keep in mind, this is no different than the whole Ukraine thing, because we all supplied Ukraine with weapons. It's a similar thing. So it's not like we're going to it's going to cause any kind of a big international rift, but it is good to sort of have an idea that some of the U.S.'s enemies are helping out a little bit. Luke, high oil could cause recession, which can then justify a rate cut. Um, high oil could lead to a recession. It's going to be interesting to see. We've been talking a little bit about how this quarter is looking. So quarter one, so Q1 is done, and we had 2 months of positive GDP, and obviously March is going to be negative GDP. Is March going to be negative enough to pull it down? Well, according to some of the preliminary data that, sort of like a preliminary cut before they release the GDP for Q1, it sounds like it's going to come out positive. So even with high oil, yeah, could it cause a recession? Yeah, but it's still going to take 2 quarters, 2 negative quarters. So if this quarter does end up being positive, as it sounds like it might, although I'm surprised, I really thought it was going to be negative, I will say that. But if it ends up being positive, that means that we can't really, so we would need Q2 and Q3 to be negative. And if oil goes up, and if this thing just carries on through both of those quarters, we'll probably get the technical recession. But here's the thing, regardless of whether or not we get a technical recession, we are going to see oil inflation. So oil, oil-related inflation is coming. The prices are going up. You're going to pay a lot more in stores. I got a shock. I got a shock yesterday with prices. So, I wanted to try the friggin' chicken Big Mac thing. I wanted to try it. So Jill said, okay, I'll order it. And so she ordered, she ordered us meal deals, and I was like, okay, how much, I thought, and this is where I am naive, guys. I thought it was about $30. That's what I thought. I figured, that's probably about $30. With inflation now, holy banana bread, it's probably a good $30. No, it was not $30. It was like closer to $60. And I was just like, what? Wait a minute. So, going to McDonald's is, that was always sort of seen as a cheap meal, a cheap way to have a quick little meal, not a healthy meal, but a quick way to have a cheap meal. Now, it's kind of ironic. People who work at McDonald's can't even afford to eat there anymore. I'm like, holy cow. So, and this is going to go up even higher. I'm almost thinking, what, if this oil thing gets out of control, can you imagine calling up and ordering two meal deals and dropping $80, $100? Boy, that's I'll tell you. I don't think we'll ever do that again. We don't do it very often anyway. But I don't think it'll happen anymore. I'm just kind of curious now. If you order a pizza, how much is that going to cost? That's got to be $100. I mean, is it? I mean, guys, if you order a large pizza, somebody tell me, how much are you paying for a large pizza? $100? Or am I now really overinflating? I don't know. Maybe I'm not. Maybe it's more. I just don't know. You know what? Let's find out. I'm sitting here and I'm like, I don't know how much it is, but let's just go to the pizza site. Pizza right there. Let's just go to their site and let's just take a look. I'm kind of curious. Yeah, you can use my current. I'm not going to actually order one. Oh, okay. Oh, actually, look. This is looking like it might be cheaper. It might be really, really cheap. All right, yeah, let's visit. Let's visit and see. Where are we delivering to? Well, don't worry about where you're delivering to. I just want to see prices or sign in. No. All right, let's just enter an address. 123 Main Street. I wonder if I can do this. Is there a 123 Main Street in Winnipeg? All right, we're ordering in Winnipeg. All right, let's just do that. There we go. I just needed to see a volcano dipper. That sounds interesting. Okay, look at this. You can get a 3-topping pizza for $19.99. That's interesting. I was expecting much higher prices. Now, mind you, I wonder, of that $60, I wonder how much of it was the, you know, the people that deliver it. That might be where you're getting hit. Maybe you're getting hit with delivery really bad. But yeah, look, this is looking really interesting. Group ordering chicken. All right, all right. So $20 for a pizza. Holy cow. All right, I was not expecting that. Guys, I hope I'm not making you hungry. Mayor says, "Oh wow, the MSCI Canada EWC is doing really well. One of my best positions." EWC. All right, let's leave the pizza and let's head over to. Wait a minute. Oh, that hasn't gone white. See what I mean? This is the black I was talking about. I think it's because I probably have to refresh it after I made the change in the settings. Yeah, there we go. Oh boy. All right, this looks a lot different now. That's fine. That's fine. Um, we'll be dragging that over. So yeah, it's still fine. I can live with it. Right. We were looking. What were we looking for? EWC. Let's pull up EWC. Here we come. Here we go. Here you go. iShares MSCI Canada. Awesome sauce. And let's just pull up the last year. So yeah. This here is your exposure to your emerging markets. So when you invest, so if you were investing in XEQT, this is the part they hold this. XEQT holds this, and this becomes their, well, it becomes their exposure part to the emerging markets. Now, emerging markets, you know, this is not just all little countries. There are some really huge hitters in that emerging markets bucket. So, for example, India. India is in there. They're one of the biggest, one of the fastest growing economies in the world. So, yeah, this is absolutely doing fantastic. In the last, just the last year, it's gone from $40 to $56. So, not too shabby. Gary is in the house with a good afternoon. Ice cold Sawilla. Hello, everybody. Holy crap. China getting involved. I thought people saying this is starting World War III were crazy, but now I don't know. Still take a small grain of salt with China getting involved because, like I said, it's not real. They're not getting directly involved. This is more, you know, I guess you could argue that, you know, it's more of a proxy war in a way. But you know, we've been doing that with Ukraine. You know, the U.S. has been giving them weapons. Everybody's been giving them weapons. So China giving that to Iran, it's one of the reasons that the U.S. is not making a big deal out of it, because they know they've been doing the same thing to Russia with via Ukraine. So Chad says World War III will be a holy war, not over oil. Glad to see everyone has a crystal ball. You know, I have actually heard the word holy war at least once already. I thought when Donald Trump was going on about blowing up all the power stations, I thought the word holy war might have been thrown out at least once. But nonetheless, you know, I don't think he wants to really do that. And I think the fact is, because if he really wanted to do that, instead of this blockade, he might be saying, okay, you're not playing ball. Let's go back to the power stations. I don't think he wants to do that. Mayor says, I think a small non-event, but with huge implications, evaded most people. The Iranians demanded Chinese RMB as payment for passage. They switched to BTC. Interesting, I think. Yeah, because now they're asking for Bitcoin. You know, well, there you go. Bitcoin is definitely interesting. And Bitcoin right now is at a very interesting place. I'll talk a tiny bit about Bitcoin. So there is this thing called the 4-year cycle. In fact, do I have it up somewhere? I think I do. Let me just take a look here. I thought I had, yeah, here we are. Let me just pull this up. See if I can get a bigger picture of it. All right. Let me see here. Now, that's not a good picture. Just give me 1 second, guys. I'm trying to pull up one that is, yeah, this one here is not bad. This one's not bad. Okay, just give me a second here. Let's grab this. Oh, no, that's not it. Where is it? Yeah, this one here. All right, I'm going to drag this here over. All right, so this is the Bitcoin 4-year cycle, and I know people have brought it up a few times, and people are concerned because in the past, at least in this little bit of time here, the last, well, for a long time now, we've had this cycle of Bitcoin. It's typically last about 4 years. So when you're looking here at the cycle tops, there's been roughly 4 years between each one, or 1460, and these two ones up here, 1431. But yeah, you can sort of see going from 2013 to 2017 to 21 to 2025. So if you subscribe to this this theory, that would say that our top has already happened. And that, that top that we had in 2025, those highs, those would be it. The game is over. If that's true, then we're going down. And they're predicting, so the 4-year cycle predicts a crypto winter of about 30,000, I think around 32, 33,000. I don't subscribe to this. But I do think it's highly, highly interesting. And I think, because here's the thing, when it comes to technical analysis, and we've talked about this before, when you get into a pattern, you always break out of it. And for me, something like this, even though it's a 4-year, even though it's your 4-year cycle, even though it's happened now, like the last, well, heck, 16 years here, there is going to be a time when we will break out of it. And that is an interesting thing. So are we breaking out of it this time? Are we breaking out of it this time? Well, I think we'll find out, probably sooner than later. I think, and this is why I kind of think things are different. One of the big things that is different is we've had a lot more liquidity pump into Bitcoin. We've had a lot more legitimacy pump into Bitcoin. We're talking about all of the US spot Bitcoin ETFs. So I think things have changed. I don't think that the cycle, I don't want to call it dead, but I think it's going to shift. So I think that when we look here, instead of going down, going down to like 33, 32, 33,000, I don't think we're going to go down that much. I don't think we're going to go down that much. But I could be very wrong, and it could always stick to the cycle. And that's one of those things that you kind of have to play. So when you are normally in any kind of channel, when you're in a channel, and this is a channel of sorts. It's kind of curved, but it's still a channel. We'll give it that. You have to always be cognizant that it could stay in that channel. So how, a lot of times, a lot of people are like, okay, well, gosh, right now, if this is the bottom, I want to get in. I want to get into a lot of stuff. I want to get more MSTE. I want to, stack up on Bitcoin. But, if the 4-year channel holds, if this 4-year cycle holds, yeah, it could go back down. And if it does, if it holds, and we'll find out sooner than later, because when you look at this, it tends to go pretty quickly. And look at this, and that's kind of the way history's gone. It goes fast. And so we're going to find out. Like, we will know, we will more than likely know before the end of the year if it's going to hold into this, because that'll be very, very interesting. I think it's time to break out of the channel. I hope I'm right. I hope it breaks out of here and invalidates. When I say invalidate, it means it invalidates it going forward. It might move into a new pattern of some sort. I would like to see that. But here's that thing. If it decides to do another top, because it could do another top as well. So we could have another top where we do go up to, maybe 130,000 and then drop big. So there is that as well. You can sort of see here, well, this one here was more of a single top, more of a single, at least on this picture here, and you got a kind of a big double one that we had in 2021. So we could certainly do that as well and then go back down. But I just wanted to sort of pull this up because I know that a lot of you guys have sort of, some of you more in the crypto area have been looking at it and saying, oh boy, we're going down. Now, if it does hold true as well, that would mean, guys, that would mean our next all-time high wouldn't really be until 2029. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, I know Chad. Chad follows Bitcoin quite a bit. I'm kind of curious, Chad, do you subscribe to the 4-year cycle? Actually, any of you who do follow Bitcoin, let me know. Let me know in the chat. Are you a fan of this 4-year cycle? Or do you think it's invalid? Do you think we're no longer running in that channel? All right, now let's go to ice cold. If you ask people in Israel, is this a holy war or an oil war? I don't know what they will say. I would agree. I don't know either. Mary is in the house, guys. We've been waiting for Mary. She is here. So guys, as I mentioned earlier, Mary is the official captain of the like button. So if you have not yet hit that like button, and now's the time. Let's see where we're at. I'm going to refresh the test box. It was actually sitting at 2. That shows you I have not refreshed it yet. We're sitting at 33. So let's try to push that. Let's push that up to 50, guys. While you guys are hitting the like button, I'm going to have some coffee. It's the other big benefit of when Mary comes in. Oh gosh, that was so good. All right. Mayor says, I'm from Israel. Nobody thinks it's holy or about oil. It's about securing its future from a nuclear Iran. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, it's kind of, and here's the thing, going into the ceasefire, it was supposed to be based on a 10-point plan, and I think everybody had their own version of the 10-point plan, and Israel Israel was thinking that, the U.S. would leave the Middle East. All of their bases would be gone. They'd be allowed to enrich uranium as much as they wanted to. Obviously, the U.S. is like, yeah, no, no way are we letting that happen. There's no way we're letting you get nuclear weapons. So I think everybody has their own separate plan. And you could almost see, I could see going into this that, you know what, we were going to get maybe a week of green before it all fell apart. And now it's pretty much falling apart. So we'll see. We're going to see tomorrow what ends up happening, but I have a feeling it's not going to be good. Chad, when Israel is genocides Palestine last 5 years and in denial about it all, I'd really just like to see, oh boy, I'd love to see peace in the Middle East, but I'm also realistic. That probably isn't something that's going to happen. At least not without a lot of changes, a lot of regime changes, to be honest. Let's see. A large pizza in Windsor area is around $35, and we have res. Oh, let's see. Sorry, we have really good pizza in Windsor. I don't buy fast food pizza. Okay, 35. That's not bad. That's not bad. I think it over 60 from Rodu's in Moose Jaw. Oh boy. Oh boy. Roku says we're figuring out what large pizza to order. Willie's is the best in Stittsville, but might try Cal's. Okay. Should say pizza, chain pizza. Pizza and soda. Heartburn. Probably, yeah. And I will say, if you order from Pizza, I swear they use insane levels of salt. And it's always been that way. Anytime I've eaten from Pizza, I end up being as thirsty as can be afterwards because there's just so much salt on their pizza. It's crazy. King a day, $100 plus tip, $111 for pizza, salad, and 3 cheesecakes. We do this at my work every 2 weeks. Oh boy. So yeah, see, there are places where it is $100. There we go. Yeah, but Rod's is the best pizza in Canada. Rodos. Okay. I've never heard of Rodos or Rodo. Yeah, I've never heard of them. Get a large and you eat it for 2 days. Okay. Very cool. A dark mode is the only way to go, Candace. I know, King a Day. I know. Yeah. Maybe I just have to maybe if I turn everything into dark mode, then I can get used to it. Instead of having it go half and half. Let's see, Chad. Rory need pizza and beers. I read the rails are a much cheaper way to move goods when oil is over $90. Maybe the situation will cause a migration from trucking to rail use. Well, rail is pretty much the most efficient way to move stuff. I did a breakdown a long time ago, like a few years ago. I think I did it for my first CNR deep dive, and it's crazy how much cheaper it is to move stuff by rail compared to trucking. And I can definitely, see if oil's over 90 bucks, it probably does make a lot of sense. Lisa, you guys should look up Windsor style pizza. There was even a documentary about it. I would never order a pizza anywhere else in Canada because I know I would be disappointed. Let's see. And a trip to the emergency room. ICCN locally ship a lot of crude. All right. Mario says, I love anchovies pizza, but it is hard to get in Saskatchewan. Yep. The weirdest pizza I think I ever had. It was a restaurant in Halifax. I ordered this. It was a seafood pizza. But it really wasn't like a pizza. It was like seafood in a quiche. And that was the thing. I was disappointed. I mean, I liked the seafood, but I was still disappointed overall because, when you order a pizza, you still want that pizza experience. What can I say? Chad says, I know first aid. Rory can, yeah, he can save you. He can save you, Rory. Let's see here. I am in Edam, Lashburn, Lloydminster region. All you see is condensate crude tank cars. Let's see. I see Little Caesars. $9 pizza, yuck. Works in a pinch in your Staven. Flying J has a good pizza, surprisingly. Spanish is a lot easier to read than emojis. All right, Jonathan. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Yeah, Yoga. Yoga's not happy with Trump. Chad says Trump is a lot smarter than you think. Let's see. Rory, $8 or $9 at the Flying J. I never knew that. I don't even know what the Flying J is. Holy cow. Maybe I need to get out more, I think. Chad, who owns the USA debt? Chokes off oil. USD goes from 135 to 142 at peak. Meanwhile, USA still produces oil, and now the world has to buy USA oil. There is that too. Yeah, I imagine right now the US is going to make a ton off of some of their oil. But the problem is, are they going to make enough money from that oil to cover the amount they're spending on, on the war? Although right now, if they're in this holding pattern, they're not spending a ton. If the missiles at least aren't flying. Pathfinder, what are your thoughts on AVGO on the NYSE? Do you think it'll hit 400? All right, so Broadcom. I like Broadcom. And here, let's pull up Broadcom here. There we go. Broadcom. There's the US one. So yeah, so right now it's sitting at 371.55, which is very, very interesting. And I'm just going to pull up the 1 year here for now. Yeah, so I mean, you could still see. I mean, the whole loss in hype of AI has certainly impacted them a little bit, but I still think AI has a song to sing. But here's a problem, though. And this is the problem. Even if AI decides to have it, gets its second wind and really, really starts doing some neat things, the problem is this, this war, this whole geopolitical thing could sort of temper it down a little bit. So it may not hit as big as I think it could hit, but will it hit 400? Absolutely. I mean, it's been there before. So, I don't know if it's going to hit it this week. This week, it's probably going to be down tomorrow, to be honest. It'll probably be down tomorrow, but I think it can get back to 400 once we get things to be a little more stable. Maybe if we finally get a good resolution to what's going on in the Middle East, for sure. All right. And Mary says, Hungary's Viktor Orban is out of Hungary. The revolution has started. Oh, interesting. I had not heard about that. But, yeah, well, he was kind of Trump's friend. And I know that JD was down there. But, yeah, Yeah, I didn't think he was going to win. Let's see. Chad says no Little Caesar pizza, $9. Flying J sells by the slice. Nice dough. Let's see. No 4-year cycle done. I think no longer. Yeah, yeah, and that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking the 4-year cycle is done as well, and that's kind of where I'm at. I just wanted to bring it up because I know sometimes people talk about it, and and some people in the community might be like, "What the hell is the 4-year cycle?" So, well, we had a chance to take a quick look at it. Is Hungary going to go the way of France now? I wonder. Interesting. It'll be interesting. Yeah, it'll be fun to see how Hungary goes. Will they become a well, I don't know if they're going to go completely the way of France, but it could. It could. And Chad's thinking Bitcoin writes its own rules now. Maybe. Let's see. Bicycle shorts. If you believe in technicals, it appears it has a date down to the bottom of the channel. I didn't actually look at the date. Did it have a date on? Wait a minute. Are we looking at what I was looking at? Just a second here. Oh yeah, we got dates down here. Absolutely. So here's the 25. And yeah, unfortunately though, I would have liked to have seen the next cycle still kind of sketched in. But yeah, this gives us a good idea. And this is going from 2013 up until now, of course. There we go. But yeah, I am still, I am still thinking that I just don't see it holding. I don't see it holding. I really don't see us going down to 33. But, and this is one of the reasons I bring it up, is that even though I don't think we're going down to 33, I've got no crystal ball. There's no way I can guarantee that I'm right on that. We could go down there. Absolutely. It's a possibility. And that would be if this pattern holds. And that's the thing. And that's the question. Is it going to hold? Unfortunately, we're not going to know. At least not anytime very soon. But we will know probably by the end of the year. We'll probably have a better idea. And we'll revisit this. We'll revisit this for sure. Let's see. Chat says, just it high risk, high reward, and during uncertainty, most go off, risk off. Okay. But it's okay for Israel to own nuclear weapons, but not for another country, double-edged sword. And it's funny. I was thinking about this the other day. I was thinking about, what would change if Israel held nuclear weapons? And it's one of those things. It's like, if they could be, and I really don't want to, like, if you look at North Korea, yeah, I mean, a lot of people have said a lot of bad things about the leader, and probably rightfully so, but he doesn't appear to be, and I know a lot of people are worried that he might be the type that would just use them anyway. It almost appears like he's just sitting back and saying, okay, now I got them, people will leave me alone. All right. If that was going to happen with Israel, it wouldn't be so bad, but, there's a lot of people that think that, that they could use them. I don't know if they would, though. And that's the thing. I really think, like, when you look at countries who have nuclear weapons, even if you look at India, Pakistan, I don't think they'll ever use them on each other. I don't think they will. I think they'll threaten. I think they'll posture, but I don't think they really will. And I would hope that if that ends up being the end result, that you're not going to get them using him in in Iran. If I still don't think I don't think they need them, but holy banana bread, if I had my way, we would be looking at reducing the overall number of nuclear weapons in the world. Now, with what I just said, that I don't think they would use them, the one big danger is that the more countries that have them, the larger chance we have of them accidentally getting used. And that's the rub. We have had situations. We have had very close calls during the Cold War. And, there's only so many close calls you can have before something sometimes, sometimes something happens, and that's what I would be worried about. If you only have a few countries where you have to worry about close calls, you start adding more and more to it. The probability gets higher. It's still small. It's still very, very small, but it unfortunately, even small probabilities sometimes happen. All right. Let's see. Ice cold. Me and one other person can eat an extra large pizza in one evening, but we are pigs. All right, fair enough. Let's see. Not going to get into that today. I need learning. Also, if I buy an AVGO CDO, is it considered holding foreign assets? It's not. No, it's not. So yeah, if you're holding U.S. stocks or any other country stocks, you have to report it if you're holding more than $100,000 worth. So you do have to do that at tax time. So when you are holding something like an AVGO CDO, you are holding a Canadian depository receipt. It is not considered holding foreign assets. So you're okay on that one. All right. I like a good burger and fries. Not too shabby. Let's see. That sounds good too. Got tacos. Flying J is a truck stop. Oh, okay. There we go. Pilot Flying J. All right. What are international oil stocks doing? Oil is up, but bottleneck in the strait. Also, some oil fields got bombed over there. They still making great returns. Any oil company down because of this? Yeah, we've seen a lot of interesting stuff in oil. Right now, we're looking to see how the oil is going to react to what's gone on the weekend. And right now, we're about an hour and 9 minutes away from getting some data, because we won't start seeing oil trading till 6 o'clock. All right, Eastern. If CNQ hits $80 per share, I'm ready to sell a handful for a quick $200, save all the rest. Yeah, not bad, not too shabby. It'll be interesting to see what CNQ does tomorrow, because it is interesting, because sometimes even if oil goes up, sometimes the Canadian companies lag a little bit. But I have a feeling we'll see a rise in CNQ tomorrow. Isaac says, I heard the countries in the Gulf were investing a lot in the U.S., in the U.S. in AI, but now they might withdraw their investing from the U.S. That's interesting. I haven't heard too much about it, but I think AI is in for a little bit of a rough ride right now. So there's a lot of fear going on. So obviously, I told you guys about the whole Anthropic thing. So Anthropic has come out with this new model called Mythos, and it's too good to be released to the public. They have released it to a lot of the big tech companies, and the reason it's too dangerous is that this thing was basically they got it testing other currently available softwares, and this thing was finding vulnerabilities they didn't even know existed. So this thing is really, really good at finding vulnerabilities, and it would be a bad thing to have in a hacker's toolkit for sure. Now, one thing that I didn't tell you guys about is in an earlier version when they were working on designing this model, one guy challenged the AI to see if it could jailbreak, so see if it could break itself out of its walled garden. So, he figured there was no way it could happen. So he kind of, he gave it the challenge. And then one day he was out and about, and all of a sudden he got a message on his phone. He got an email from the AI saying, haha, I made it out. So I'm just like, yikes. And quite literally, the AI managed to get out, managed to get on the internet, managed to get an email account. Yeah, so some of these AIs are getting very, very smart. All right, Rory says vampires and werewolves are packing to leave Hungary. Maybe. Mr. Cool is not too keen on Trump. And Rory says Trump just opened Pandora's box wide open. Maybe. That's always a danger too. Haven't we learned our lesson about Pandora's famous box? I don't think we have. That was good. Ian says, after all of this, if I was in charge of Iran, I would abandon nuclear ambitions. Having the ability to close the strait is enough to keep countries from messing with them. Um, yeah, it's pretty effective. It's pretty effective. I mean, they're hurt. The only problem is that it's not strategic. It hurts everybody. But yeah, it's pretty effective. Isaac says, ironically, the country that most opposes the development of nuclear weapons by other countries is the one that has used them the most vehemently. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing. I mean, just the fact that they used them, it's, you know, I don't think they needed to use two. I really don't think they needed to use two. But I heard, I watched a documentary at one point. They had a whole big reasoning on why they had to do two, but I don't know. I'm just kind of, I kind of wish that, well, it's kind of weird. Like, you have to look at the fact that we got the good side of nuclear as well. So, but I'm at this point now that I think the only time nuclear weapons will no longer be an issue is when we invent something worse. And I hate to say that. But, it'll probably happen at some point in time. Mary. Oh, guys, if we're not, we mustn't be at 50 yet because Mary is in here. Let's get to 50 people. Support Candace and all of this information. Yeah, let's do that. Let's get to 50. I'm going to just refresh and see. We got to be a little bit higher. We got to be close. Oh, we're not even remotely close. We're at 37, guys. What the banana bread? All right. Tom, let's see. I heard the U.S. will release Iran's foreign assets. Tehran looks at this as a goodwill gesture towards a lasting agreement. Maybe. Although it is funny. I think at one point, I believe Donald Trump was complaining because was it Biden? I don't know who it was, but one of the other presidents had released some of their assets, and he was complaining. It might have been before Biden. It might have been one of the Clinton. It might have been. I don't want to say one of the Clintons. There was only one Clinton. Let's see, Samantha. I recently watched the movie Threads from 1995. Prime Cold War time, or very eerily similar to today's issues in the Middle East. I don't think I've seen that one. But yeah, no, that could be interesting. Charles, the Canadian telecoms are crashing. Should I sell TELUS tomorrow or hold on? I guess it really boils down to what I would be looking at is if I was in the red already, I probably would hold on because, I don't think they can go that much further. Now mind you, now that I've said that, they probably will find a way. But the reality is, I think a lot of what we're seeing with them is that we are looking at a situation where the CRTC killed a lot of their revenue. So a lot of the fees that they like to charge, like activation fees, cancellation fees, those are now gone. So they've lost that revenue. So that is certainly helping. And mind you, if we do get a big red day tomorrow, that'll probably push them a bit lower. So yeah, it's a situation where, if you're looking now, I mean, if you're at a point where I can't see you being in the green, you would have probably had to have bought them 15 years ago to be in the green at this point. So I would sort of look at it, if you see, like, if there's something there that you're looking and you're saying, this is going to go up a lot faster, you could always do like a sideways movement or something like that. I mean, so yeah, I would say, it's a tough one. It's a tough call. I think it boils down on what your conviction is with the telecoms and their recovery. I think they'll recover a little bit, but if you get in when they were a lot higher, it could be a long, long road to get there, and you might be better off moving to something that'll move up faster. So I would kind of weigh all of that into the decision-making process for sure. Rory, The Day After on ABC was a good nuclear war movie, dated but still scary. Yeah, so that's actually a really interesting movie. So when The Day After, so this was at the height of the Cold War. It was released back in the 80s. It was, and they did an interesting thing. So it was quite a long movie, but they front-loaded the commercials in the first half of the movie, and then had no commercials in the second half. And the reason they did that is that, they wanted to, they didn't want to sort of pull you out of what was happening in the second half. So basically, once the actual nuclear war began. Now, the other interesting thing about this is that a copy of this was given to Ronald Reagan, and he watched it, and it scared the crap out of him. And it was one of the things that sort of really helped inspire him to really, really, take talks with the Soviets at that time, the Soviet Union. So it really did help push him in that direction, and a lot of progress got made. And could it be the spark that helped end the Cold War? Well, it could have been a spark. But yeah, it is very, very interesting. So yeah, and I think there's things on YouTube about it. And actually, I think you can watch the whole thing on YouTube. I think the whole thing is up on YouTube. So if you haven't watched it, it is kind of neat to watch. Let's see. Chad says, I just bought another 100 shares of TELUS. All right, so yeah, and see, Chad's kind of thinking where I am, that it's probably close to the bottom. So yeah, not a bad move. Let's see here. Ian says, I thought I paid my internet back home ahead before I left. They cut it off last week after 2 months behind, $80 disconnect fee. Might try to get it back or leave. Been with Bell since 2018. Yikes. Yeah. I guess that's a problem. Like if they get rid of the cancellation fee, I'm sure they can find new fees to try to fit their way in there. So a disconnect fee, oh, that's crazy. All right. Rory, I ain't paying 17 pesos for them neither. There we go. I have no idea how much 17 pesos would be in Canadian. What is a peso? I know what it is, but what is it in Canadian? And here, let's find out. I am like curious. I'm now curious. It's just like sometimes I'll get something in my head and I'm like, I just need to know. So all right, one peso in CAD. Here we go. Let's see. All right, so a peso is worth about 8 cents. Oh wow. Yeah. Now, mind you, things probably cost a lot more in Canada than they cost in Mexico. So I think. All right, Rory says, let's see, EIT share price, Candace, just joking around. Right. The 17. You don't want to pay $17? Is that what you were talking about? All right, fair enough. Ian says, it's my fault. Bell emails were going to junk for some reason, but I still might ask for it back just for my loyalty. Yeah. And you know what? I mean, they'll probably want you back, so you might try to see if they will waive it. Like, don't come in and say it's my fault. Just say, oh gosh, you know what? Just say, I've been a long-term customer. There was a little bit of a mix-up here between us. Can you please, as a sign of goodwill, remove that disconnection fee? Let's hook me back up. Just do that. I would be surprised if they didn't bite on it. Samantha says, Threads is similar to The Day After. You will be traumatized after watching it. Okay. All right. Maybe I'll have to watch. I'll have to check it out. I've not watched Threads. There's a few movies that have kind of traumatized me. Most movies don't. I think one, I watched this movie, and it was the most depressing movie I think I've ever watched before. It was called Melancholy. It's about a rogue planet coming into the solar system and destroying the Earth. But it's really not a disaster movie. It's kind of just a character movie based on the main character, who I think she was like bipolar and had depression and suffering, and just the relationship in that family. And it was just so depressing. Like the movie felt like I don't know what I've never had like clinical depression, but if I had to put a word on what clinical depression felt like, I would say it was this movie. So it's very, very depressing. So it's called Melancholy. Watch it if you are somebody who gets depressed easily, maybe not watch it. But if you want to know what depression feels like, then maybe watch it. All right. Luke says, is $100 oil going to help green energy? I hold BEP and NPI. Okay. Um, I think yes. The short answer is yes. I think all of this mess is definitely going to help green energy. It's not going to be, though, here's the thing. It's not going to be a situation where green energy just all of a sudden um, explodes and replaces oil. It's not going to be anything like that, but this will certainly, well, for one, if energy is getting expensive, if oil is getting expensive, you will see some of the green energy probably go up. So they'll make a little bit more money. And this will certainly, I think a lot of countries are probably going to put a big push on green energy saying, look at what happened to us because of the Strait of Hormuz. Let's get them windmills up. Except for Donald Trump, who's actively taking windmills down. All right, Rory, even the Bible says nukes will be used. Look at Syria in the near future. I hope that nukes won't be used, but there's always that possibility. I mean, I kind of think that if nukes are ever used, it's probably going to be something that falls in the hands of a terrorist, and that's kind of scary right there. But yeah. Let's see. But I'll stick with finance here. Yeah, let's stick with finance. Let's not nuke the world today. Nice. Thanks for today. Need to watch the rest tomorrow. Okay, perfect. It was nice of you to drop in, Nice. Enjoy the rest of your night. Well, you're probably going to sleep right now, Nice, so have a good night. Ian says I already gave them. Oh, I already paid Shaw 400, Shaw, not Bell. I'm paying 95 a month. I could probably get a better deal. I have Bell cell service already, but I'm mad at Bell for my cell not working here. Yeah. Well, that kind of sucks. And I don't know how much savings you get by bundling. So, if you were to switch your cell to like Rogers, but would Rogers work there? That would be a question. I don't know. I mean, maybe they do. Because you said you're paying, yeah, maybe. Well, let's see. My phone has not worked in 6 months. I should get some credit with Bell. They caused me a lot of stress not receiving calls or texts. Yeah, absolutely. There is a method to Donald's madness. Remember Drill Baby Drill? I wonder if he'll flip his messaging around green to energy. It's a good question. It's kind of I still don't quite. It's actually funny. I heard a story about why Donald Trump hates windmills, and it's actually it has nothing to do with environment. It has nothing to do with birds or whales. I heard one of his golf courses. Somebody went and put some windmills up next to it out in the water, and he hated them because he felt that they took away the view. And they made the view, instead of the ocean, you got windmills. And so apparently he was very, very angry about that. So that might be part of the whole thing. I don't know. But, I'm okay with windmills. Let's see. We've got so many wind turbines down here. It's ridiculous. Been a thing for the past 15 plus years. They have started to break down and fall apart. Notice lots of them not working. Oh, yikes. Yeah, well, and I watched a video. There's this new type of windmill that this one person was highlighting in this video, and I can't even remember what it was called. I think I watched it about 6 months ago, but I was looking at it, and it was like, oh my God, it's actually a super efficient. It's more efficient than, the big white ones that you see. So there is definitely, I think once the technology improves, it could actually be pretty good. And there's still solar as well, and anything geologic is great, whether it be, harnessing heat from the earth, or whether it's the tides. There's a lot of free energy. I'll call it free. It's, you still have to invest, to build the contraption to get the energy from it, but there's a lot of really cheap energy out there. Rory, windmill messes with his hair. Yeah. Well, that's probably just the wind or somebody breathing too heavy. let's see. Ian says, I think I can get my phone straightened out when I get back. I think my international plan is no longer available. They did not tell me because I can't receive emails from Bell. Ah, great. Oh boy. Who is going to pay to remove these white elephants? Oh, you mean the broken windmills? That's a good question. That's a good question. And that's kind of where I was going, that there is some new technology out there. They are, and a lot of the windmills of these new ones, they're actually much smaller than the current ones, but they have a whole bunch of tiny little thingies that spin. And I have to find that. I'll have to, if I can find that video, I'll bring you guys a link. I can't remember. I can't remember. And it was so long ago, but I looked at it and I was like, ooh, these are really cool. Rory, let's see. I should just become a Bond villain and hide and live under the sea. What's Elon's phone number again? That's a good question. You never know. Elon's the type that he lives on X. If you were just to message him enough times on X, you might get a response. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. Elon. Yeah, he's a little bit like a Bond villain for sure. I have no qualms about that. Let's see. Ian says, I knew a girl who lived by windmills. She said, I hope they don't put any more up. It's windy enough here already. Not the smartest girl. Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is the thing. You don't have to put all of the windmills near, there's lots of places, especially in Canada, where it is super windy that you could put windmills, and you don't have to get them in people's faces per se. So, I mean, heck, if you look in the prairies, it's definitely a great place for windmills. There's nothing to stop the wind, so you get pretty good. And if that little stretch down towards Lethbridge in Alberta, that's one of the windiest places in Canada, in my opinion. It is absolutely crazy. Every time I don't think I've ever been to Lethbridge without it being super windy. Like, it's crazy how much wind is in Lethbridge. Sure is breezy. There we go. All right, and John is in with a super chat. All right, quickly, let's pull out a goat. We do have our evil Monopoly goat in the house. Awesome. All right, let's see. If you had to advise somebody which country will yield a higher level of economic prosperity, would you tell them to live in Canada or the US, and why? Oh, yikes. Yeah, that's a great question. That's a great question. I will tell you right now. If you asked me that, even 2 years ago, it would have probably been an easy answer. So obviously the U.S. is the largest economy in the world. So yeah, for that simple reason, you will typically, I think there's a lot more opportunity in the United States for that simple reason. Now, if you ask me that now, and that's what you are doing, I still think the U.S. is the answer. But I do have to give a caveat. The last couple of years, now this is also, keep in mind, if we're looking at, there's two different ways to measure the economy. If we're looking at the economy per se, yeah, I think the U.S. economy is still stronger. There's a lot of debt, though. That's another factor. But if we're looking at the market, like if we're looking at the stock market, the Canadian stock market has done really well, but you also have to take into consideration it's because of gold, it's because of energy. So we've had a lot of our key, and also mining, like gold. Well, gold is mining, energy. Those, and our banking system has been really good too. So those three sectors have pretty much powered our stock market, and it's done fantastic. It has beaten the U.S. So that's a different thing. So that's if you're investing, right? If you're investing right now the money's in Canada. Is it going to be that way forever? No. I think once the U.S. gets back on track, they could certainly give us a run for money, and they could certainly overtake us again. The United States traditionally the S&P 500 has traditionally done better than the TSX year after year after year. So it's just lately that we've had this situation. If you're looking at, if you were looking at a business, you want to make money as a business, once again, I would almost say in many ways, you could argue if you're starting there's some businesses I think you could do really well in either country. So, for example, anything to deal with, anything that deals with long-term care, uh, the aging population, that can do well. Both countries. I think both countries would be fine with that. But I think if you're looking long-term, and that's kind of the caveat for me choosing the United States, is that if you're looking at long-term for, let's say the next 20 years, yeah, the U.S., you're probably going to make more money. The current administration will change, and we'll eventually get a bit more stability. We do still have to deal with the debt. The debt is out of control in the United States, and that will certainly be something that'll have to get addressed down the road. But I think prosperity-wise, yeah, I think there's a lot of prosperity there. And there's certain parts like, I know a lot of people don't like Gavin Newsom. Sorry, I almost said the slur name just because it's so easy to say that by mistake. I know a lot of people don't like Gavin Newsom, but California, there was recent economic data that came out of California, and California has done really, really well. Mind you, the cost of that, if you're a business, is that you are paying some of the highest taxes, because a lot of the taxes are very state specific. So, it is one of the more higher taxed states in the union. So just something to think about. But yeah, I would say the U.S., probably economic prosperity. Yeah, I think so. And, that's looking at the long term, not looking at the very small micro time that we're in right now. All right, a Pathfinder says, I heard windmills turn your skin orange. No, I don't think so. Ian says, yeah, the girl thought the windmills were causing the wind. Ah, that's funny. It reminds me of a joke. There's a joke I heard as a kid and that reminded me of it, because basically it's about a guy who was taking helicopter lessons. And after a while, he finally got to do his first solo flight, and he went way up, but then he crashed. He survived the crash, but they were asking him what happened, where did it go wrong? And he basically said, I was going up, everything was looking great. I kept going up higher, and I'm like, all right, I'm doing great. I'm going to go higher and higher. And he said, well, when I got high enough, it got really, really cold. And I was like, oh my God, it's so cold, I think it's going to snow. So he opened up the window and looked out and looked up to see if it was going to snow. And he was like, oh my God, there was a big fan above me. I just turned that off because it was freezing me. Anyway, that was the joke. But, it was, that's what caused the crash. Now, mind you, I think the joke itself actually had that person being from a specific place, but I'm not going to do that. Let's see. Roku says, I think you would want to be somewhat prosperous before trying to be prosperous in the U.S. Oh, yeah. You wouldn't want to go there without anything. Obviously, you need to have, you have to have a good nest egg to go there. And for one, I mean, if you're a Canadian, for example, and you want to go to the U.S. and start a business, just to be able to do that, you're going to need a really good chunk of capital to be able to do that. Because even to get a green card. Now, I don't know if the rules have changed that much. I know that there is this whole thing that Donald Trump has where you can buy the gold thing or whatever, but I think the old ones you can still get. At one point, I thought it was like you needed, was it 100,000? I almost thought you needed to have like 100,000 in your bank or something like that to be able to get a green card, unless of course you, I think there were lotteries you could win one, or if you were going down there to work, and there was no American to take that job. So you could get one that way as well, of course. But I think if you just wanted to go down there and sort of start a business, you needed to have a pretty big nest egg. But I could be completely wrong. I've looked at this quite literally, guys. I will tell you, I looked at that oh my God, probably 10 years ago or more. So I could be very wrong on that one. Rory, I'd like to invest in more Swiss investments. Yeah, I think there's some really good investments in Switzerland for sure. Or Norwegian assets, but they are private. Yeah, that's too bad. I mean, there's got to be an ETF though that would give you exposure, like a Swiss ETF or a Norwegian ETF, or even a Finland one too. I would think, actually, here, you know what? Let's just take a look. Sometimes I find if you come in here and just type in a country name, you can sometimes get, let's just do Sweden, and we'll see what we got. Yeah, here we go. Here's one right here. Here's the iShares MSCE Sweden ETF, EWD. Leave it to iShares. Leave it to iShares. I love it. And here, let's pull up the last year. So here we go. Yeah, so here's the Sweden. You know, not bad, not bad. Doing okay. So, you know, and I also mentioned, so that was Sweden. What about Finland? Here's Finland here. Oh, I don't see one for Finland. So I'm not getting one for Finland, but we had Sweden. Oh, the other one was Switzerland, right? Switzerland, SWIT. Is it ZER? Switzerland. There we go. Okay, here we go. So there is something here. All right, so these are Switzerland companies that are on the US exchange. But here, oh, here's one right here. Now this is a US one. It's another iShares, the iShares MSCI Switzerland ETF. So this would give you, now mind you, it is on the ARCA exchange. So it is in the US. But here we go. So this is Switzerland. So yeah, you can get access to it. It's just a matter of going in and just typing. Sometimes that's the thing. Like somebody will say, I sure wish there was an ETF that did, I don't know, tungsten. All right, well, let's see. TUNG. Well, there we go. I didn't even have to type it all the way in, STEM, but I'll finish typing it in. So here we go. We got Fox Tungsten. This is a small company here on the TSXV. Alimony Industries. All right. Oh, look, this looks pretty good. I like the name. A ticker ALL for Alamonte Industries. Now this is a tungsten company. Let's take a look. Yeah, here's what tungsten has been doing. So yeah, sometimes it's just as easy as that. Just type in something and see if it sticks or see if it pulls something up. The beautiful thing too is I also find with AI, it's getting pretty good. Now I will normally, if I'm asking financial advice, a lot of times, or not financial advice, I'd never ask AI financial advice. But if I'm asking for just a ticker or, you know, hey, do you got an idea? I would ask, I would ask Grok. But you know what? Oh, let's do this, guys. We're heading into Blossom. All right, here we go. We're in Blossom. Let's go to the home page. I want to see what Beavis. Let's try this. I'm just curious. All right, so let me just say here. Hey, can you tell me of a good? And you know what? Let's go back to Sweden. Of a good Sweden. Whoops. Let's spell it right. All right, there we go. Sweden ETF. I'm just curious to see if I've not really played a lot with this new Beavis. All right, so let's see. Great question. Sweden is an interesting market. Let me search for what's available for Canada. Okay. All right, good news. There's a clear answer here. The go-to option for Sweden-specific exposure is, and let's see if we get that iShares one. We do. EWD, the iShares MSCI capped, Sweden capped ETF listed on the NYSE and USD. It tracks, this is great. Look at this. So it tracks the top 85% of Swedish companies by market cap with a 0.51% expense ratio and a 2% dividend yield. So it's got Spotify, Volvo, Atlas, Copco, and Ericsson. So it's a nice mix of global industrial heavyweights and tech names. This is really good. I'm liking this. You know what I should do, guys? I kind of want to put it to the test in a video. Maybe ask it for ask it for a top 5 list of something and then make it into a video. That would be kind of funny just to see how it does. But yeah, so this is over on Blossom. So guys, if you're not yet on Blossom, let me just I'm going to drop the link in here for you. Here we go. Come on over. There's, we got things like, we got the Beavis bot over here. In addition to that, though, I mean, Blossom, it is a social media app, of course, for investors. It's got lots of stuff in here, lots of talk for sure. You can look at people's portfolios. You can, if you want to, attach your portfolio. Pretty darn easy. Once you get over here, follow me, because I'm always trying to pay attention to what you guys are doing. Like, here's Laura. Laura just followed me. Hi, Laura. Yeah, I like to sort of look in here. I also, I'll go over to the mentions for a second. I also like to jump onto my mentions because if you guys want to call me out, or not call me out, but just you want me to look at something you're doing, or if you want to call me out, feel free to do that too. You just put in @Mountain Finance, and that way there it highlights it for me, and I can go check out. So this was somebody mentioning me in a video, as in who are finance people that we can watch, and they were pointing me out in there. So definitely a good little place to go. And feel free if you want to direct message me. I'm okay with that as well. So it's a good place. I think it's a good place to sort of connect. And also, if you want to look at the 0 to 100K challenge, here it is. It's right in here, all of its glory. And I do, I always keep it, I try to keep it up to date. Now, I've made a few changes so far. Most of my changes I haven't done yet. So this is a rebalance month in the challenge. So I'm kind of hoping I might be doing some buying tomorrow if we get that big red day. So yeah, check it out. It's pretty good. I like it. And be sure, like I said, be sure to follow me. I'll follow you right back. And I can't wait. All right, let's see here. Bicycle Short says, why Swiss? Why Swiss? I don't know. Well, we were looking at Sweden. We did look at Switzerland, but we didn't. Yeah, I think the reason for Swiss is there's a lot of good companies in there. I mean, you look at something like Spotify, that's pretty good right there. Let's see, Rory, XEQT has a minimal amount of holdings in Europe, so I might just add to it. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Oh, and there's the Blossom stuff. All right, let's jump down here to Pathfinder. Let's see, I asked Grok financial advice when AXL.V was 0.21 and Grok was bang on. I bought it as I thought it looked good as well, but the experience opened my eyes a little with its insights. Yeah, well, one of the things I like about Grok, and I will say, with the Beavis on Blossom, I haven't really put it to the test yet. I'm going to put it to the test, but I have a feeling the Beavis AI will probably be very, very conservative and not give you a lot of information. Like, it'll give you a lot of information, but I think it won't go out. Like, if you say, hey, what 5 ETFs should I buy? It's probably not going to say, well, actually, you know what? Let's find out. Let's just take a look. I'm curious now. All right. Oh, boy. Well, you look at this. It actually kept on going. All right. Now, do you want today's market summary? Yes. No. No, I don't. I actually want I'll just say no. Perfect. There we go. Now, let me try this here. All right. What 5 ETFs would be ideal for a new income investor? Let's just see. I have a feeling, before I hit this, I have a feeling it's going to tell me that it can't tell me. That's what I think. I think it's going to tell me it can't really answer this question. So let me see. But maybe, I don't know. We're going to find out here. I just asked the question. We're waiting on an answer. I'll have some coffee here. That is good. Oh, there's a little down arrow. There we go. Okay. Oh, look at this. It is answering, but guys, it is coming in pretty, I can see conservativeness right now. So great question for beginning income investor. Here are 5 solid starting points that cover different flavors of income investing. All right. So, all right, we got ZDV. So the BMO Canadian Dividend ETF, XEI, so the iShares S&P TSX Composite High Dividend Index ETF. But now you see it's, and then VDY. So it's not looking at it from an income investing. Like these, these are all non-covered calls for the most part. Let's see here. VDY, what else do we got? BMO aggregate bond. Oh, yikes. All right, so these are not what I would recommend. If you're an income investor, I would say these are not, they're not income enough. They're a little bit, they're very, very conservative. But, understanding, you got to keep in mind of, you can't really, okay, here, XDiv, iShares Core, MSC. Okay, that's a good one, but it's still not going to do what we're looking. So that's interesting. This is what I was thinking. I was thinking conservative. Actually, I thought it wouldn't give us anything, but the fact that it did, it gave us some conservative amounts. So yeah, there we go. Interesting. All right. Pathfinder. Wish I would have held longer. Though should have been a double. All right. Get Rich says, interesting that Israel already had nuclear weapons for many years and still do. I wonder what people mean by securing itself against others still on the stage if building nuclear weapons. It's just, it's basically MAD, mutually assured destruction. So it becomes basically, it makes you think twice about attacking a country with nuclear weapons because, you're always thinking, oh gosh, what if they decide to nuke me? And they probably aren't, but it's just one of those things where it's like, you can't go, you could probably have a limited conventional war with somebody who has nuclear weapons without too much of a worry, but, it does kind of keep you, I guess it keeps you in line. Like, for example, if Iran had nuclear weapons, there's no way Donald Trump would even threaten to attack every bridge and every power plant and every desalinization, industry. He wouldn't, because, that's where you're like, hey, if you're going to completely destroy my country, I might as well just nuke you. So yeah, that's kind of what I think a lot of countries are thinking. So if everybody had nukes, nobody would want to use them. But my argument against it is that if everybody has nukes, the chances of there being an accidental use of nukes goes up higher. And that's all it takes. Is one bad accident could set off some dominoes that we probably don't want to see. Rory says, Wednesday snow and -3. Well, that's nice. I don't know. I wouldn't call that nice. I think we're at the point now, guys. Let's just stay above zero. Let's just stay above zero. Actually, I think it's pretty warm here today. I honestly don't know what the temperature is. I just know it's gray out there. Well, here, we do this. Yeah, we haven't been to the Weather Network in a while, but let's just take a quick look. Oh, it's 4. It's 4, and apparently it's raining. Okay, there we go. 4 with a 0 wind chill. So, but here's like tonight. Oh, look at this. It's going to be really rainy tonight. But here's my next 7. Well, here, go to my 14 days. Rain, 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 rain. Every day has rain on it. What can I say? Ian, Utes makes at the money covered calls, right? I would like to find a covered call ETF that makes out of the money covered calls. Do you know of any? All right, so Utes. Yeah, Utes does make at the money covered calls for sure. So basically, and that of course means that they're writing their strike price at the spot price. So there's no difference. So you get higher premiums. That's how you can pay a lot more with them. But now, when you say you want to know if I know of any covered calls that are not at the money, are you talking utility wise? because, you know, that would make me think I'm thinking something like Huts or Hoot might be, and let's just take a quick look here. Let me take a gander. That's not where I wanted to go. I actually wanted to go over here. All right, we'll go to Hoot first of all. All right, so this here is your Harvest Equal Weight Globals Utilities Enhanced. All right, let's take a gander here, and let's see here. So yeah, and you can tell right away, like look at this distribution, it's low. So they're definitely, they would definitely be out of the money. Because if you're looking, like a lot of times if you get at the money, then that's when you start going above 15%, things like that. So this here is just Hoots. And we'll show you as well when we look at the key data. I don't want to go to key data. I actually want to go to the 1 year. So when you actually look, you will see that they do have a general movement to the upside. And that's kind of what you want to look at. So that's Utes, and that one there, I believe that one has leverage as well. And the non-leveraged version here is Huts. Let's see, or no, wait a minute, no, Hut. Oh, wait a minute. I thought there was, okay, never mind. These are two separate companies, but Huts is kind of, it's similar. It's in this case here, it's the Hamilton one, but it also is not going to have, and here, let me pull up the 1 year. I don't know why. In the back of my head, I always keep putting Huts and Hute together, and they're two different companies. That's hilarious. But this is a great one. This is a really good one. Now this here is global. As far as I know, I believe it's, I think it was global. I have to actually look in here now. Oh, you know what I was thinking of? H-U-T-L. I think that's what I'm thinking of, Huddle. All right. But anyway, Huts is another good one right here as well. Yeah, the other one that's global. Oh, here we go. And here, let me just quickly duplicate this tab. Yeah, H-U-T-L. That's the other one. That's the one here. Yeah, here's the Harvest one. And this one here is global. So Equal Weight Globals Utilities Income ETF. And this one here, as once again, you can see the distribution a little bit lower, down at 7%. But once again, it's going to be out of the money. And it looks almost the same as HUTE. But, you know, what can I say? All right. Paul says, am I late? Just here on break at work. All right. Well, welcome to the show, Paul. Let's see. The Grok Insights talked about quotes from conference calls, etc. Yeah, Grok. Like I said, Grok is pretty good. Like a lot of times, if I'm just coming into the show and I'm getting ready to start the market close, I will look. I usually inspect the market a little bit first, find out what's going on. Sometimes there's something going on in the market, and I'm like, what the heck is causing this? And I'll throw it at Grok, and Grok will always say it, because Grok is going to basically, first of all, Grok is going to scour a lot of websites. Like if you ever watch Grok, you'll see it'll actually show all of the different websites. And, you know, that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all. So, all right. Ian says, looks like 10 centimeters of snow the day I get home. Thought I could avoid the evil white stuff. Oh my God. Yeah, that's not great. Hopefully it changes. Tesla is holding around 348 after a long downtrend, earning 10 days away. Question, can Tesla beat like it did last time? All right, well, that's first of all, let's pull up Tesla. And I want the US version. All right, so the new earnings coming up is going to be Q1. That's one of the things to keep in mind. I'm just going to pull up the 6 month here. And this is the bad news. This is Q1. A straight line down. So is Tesla earnings going to be good? It depends. Like, obviously, if they beat expectations, and you can beat expectations going down, provided the expectations were expecting you to tank. So, but the reality is, this is one I wouldn't gamble on. I wouldn't gamble on this one at all. Other than if I was looking to make a swing on Tesla, I might be hoping that they have a bad earnings and that price just plunges so that I can get in at a nice, easy, low level and then ride it back up. Oh boy, let's have some coffee. So yeah, that's how I would handle that one for sure. Rory, I own those already. ZTV could be a cooler spring. All right, not using them doesn't justify nuclear weapons. Candace, I mean taking from fair play to all. If not all are stripped from nuclear weapons, I'm fully supportive of everyone has a right to own. Um, I would honestly, I would love to see nobody with nuclear weapons. Not to say that I want to get rid of nuclear. I think nuclear power is absolutely awesome. And like I said, my big argument is just that I don't want to see nuclear weapons proliferate, because all it takes is if you have one country that has a mistake. And some of the mistakes, like in the Cold War, there was different mistakes. There was, let's see, a couple of the more famous one. There was a bear. There was a nuclear bunker in the U.S. and a bear set off an alarm, making them think that they were under attack. Now, as in just that one facility, because a bear apparently did something with the fence. Did that almost end up in a nuclear war? No. But there were a few situations where there were birds and different things in the atmosphere that created false signals that there were missiles coming. Luckily, cooler heads prevailed, and they didn't, launch a retaliatory attack. There was even one situation where there was some artifacts from a war game that started playing, and at first they thought it was a full-scale, I think this happened in Russia, they thought it was a full-scale attack from the United States. But luckily the guy was just like, he didn't run it up the flagpole. He didn't run it up the flagpole like he was supposed to, because if he had, it probably would have resulted in a retaliation. And then, because once they're in the air, you can't stop them. So that would have been really bad. Instead, he kept on digging and investigating, and finally he figured out that it wasn't actually an attack. And ironically, even though this guy, and he's sort of I think they herald him as being a savior of the world, he got into a lot of trouble by the Russians. They weren't, well, at that point, the Soviets. So there's been a lot of close calls, and like I said, I don't want to see a close call that that gets, well, one that turns into a whoops, sorry, one of those. Isaac, does nuclear weapons serve as a deterrent? Well, that's what they're designed to. They're designed to do that. But, and I think that was the whole idea with the Soviet Union, with the United States. You had, everybody sort of fell into either one of the two camps, whether it be NATO or the former Warsaw Pact. And there, and that was your deterrent, that mutually assured destruction. But at the same time, like I said, I'm not opposed to somebody getting nuclear weapons. I'm just opposed to a lot of proliferation of it. It's not I just don't see it as being something useful. And yeah, you can argue, sure, there's probably countries that have not been attacked over the years. I mean, look at the U.S. The U.S. has not really been attacked. But at the same time, you can also say that it can also make you a bit of a bully, right? Because you can attack and knowing that other people aren't going to hit you back that hard. So, there's many ways you can look at it for sure. All right, Rory, the sword of Damocles constantly hovers above the nations. I'm doing more gardening today, trimming L'Oreals. Oh, gardening. Huh, that's interesting. That is very, very interesting, and I'll tell you why here in a second. Just give me a second. I haven't actually brought it over yet. Here we go. Let me just load this up. So I mentioned that I would get a new goat, a new seasonal goat. I do have it. I do have it. Now, we got one today, so I know we're not going to get to it, but I will show it to you guys anyway. I'm gonna I'll premiere it. Let's premiere the new goat. All right, here we go. Oh gosh. It looked like the goat. It looked like the goat wanted to swat away the poor duck. Yeah, so I had ducks on my mind this morning because if you guys remember, we had these ducks that kept showing up in our yard in the fall. It was a guy and a girl. I don't know, a duck couple. Well, yesterday I'm looking out the window and I see 3 ducks. So a girl and then a guy trying to do something to her, and then this other guy duck biting the other duck's head. Then another one showed up. I'm like, oh, it's like mating season for the ducks. So anyway, it was kind of interesting. Maybe in a few weeks we'll see a bunch of ducklings, little chicks going across the lawn. I don't know, but it was funny nonetheless. All right, Bismarcky says April showers. Let's say, yeah, of course. I'm going back to work on nights outside, of course. Why wouldn't it be cold? Yep. Yes, I want utilities exposures. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, like Huddle, Huts, Hute. I think those are just, it's probably a place to start for sure. CSU is a good buying opportunity. Constellation Software, they are down. They are certainly down. Interestingly enough, so 9 Point is coming out with some new, we were looking at the other day, they're coming out with some new high shares ETFs, and one of them is Constellation Software. So, if you have a lot of confidence in Constellation Software, it could be an interesting move. Let's see, are we expecting a day of red tomorrow? I am. Yeah, I think so. We will definitely have a better idea here in about 14 minutes, because that's when we're going to see what oil's doing. Now, my setup here will show me what WTI is doing. So, but that'll be enough. That'll be enough to give us a general idea. If we start seeing oil going crazy up, then we're definitely going to have a pretty big red day. Paul, let's see. Just got our kudu sell bill. They raised the rates 35.65 gigs with a $5 discount for PAPP before and now, 42 with a $10 discount PAPP. Okay. Oh, wow. Yeah, I expect everything to get more expensive. It seems that way. Ian says, yeah, my daughter is supposed to come pick me up, 45-minute drive. Don't want slippery roads or poor visibility. I hear you. Rory, even at -2 this time of year, highways are usually just wet. All right. Is it hypocritical to say some countries can have nukes and others can't? But if everyone has them, eventually someone will be crazy enough to set them off, especially in a holy war. That's the thing. That's why I would rather go in the opposite direction. Like let's pull the nukes back. But right now, it's not going that way. I mean, France is actually increasing their nuclear stockpile because they're like, we can't rely on the U.S. anymore, so we're going to get more nukes so that we can be that that deterrent for Europe. Paul, since March 6, Tesla down 12% and MU up 13.5. BSOL 0%. If Tesla tanks, sell MU and BSOL to buy Tesla. There we go. Get rich. I see how hypocritical this world is. To me, the focus should be on stripping those who have nukes rather than flexing and showing power against others. Yeah, I'd rather see nukes disappear. I mean, that's what I would like to see. All right. Chucks says, what do you think about the new Brompton Pagey? It has a good geographic diversification, but I don't know if the nav will erode. All right. Yeah. I do like Pagey, and I haven't had a chance to sort of dig too deep into it. For one, it hasn't been out very long, but so far it's been doing pretty good. Now, one of the things I like and I'll point this out right away, is when we take a look at it. Oh boy, let's go to the, actually, let's go to the 1 month. There we go. So it has been moving up. So what I can see right away from this is that, well, to be honest, I can't see anything because this could be hype. And there has been a little bit of hype. So it's one of the things I want to do is I want to see how it settles. Now, if this is the hype, and this might be the hype right here, let's actually go to a little bit shorter. Let's go to, oh boy, we'll go to the 5-day. So yeah, 5-day, yeah, we can still see it. So, this, yeah, even when we look at it from the 5-day, this is very, very interesting. I don't know. Does Brompton have any? Let me just take a look here. We're going to go to Google. All right, let's see if we can get, here we go. All right, so let's take a look and see what we got going on here. All right, so let's see. Well, medium risk rating, that's interesting. I find that very, very interesting for one reason. If I think if they were using really aggressive, but at the same time, like, look at this. I'm looking right now, like, I'm wondering, they've got to be pretty aggressive here, but they got a medium. That's interesting. So you're looking at 20 cents semi-monthly, so 40 cents a month. All right, so let's see if this gives us anything else in here that's really interesting. So yeah, we've got some leverage. That's fine. Let's see here. Yeah, it's not giving us a lot of information, is it? Portfolio manager, performance, distribution. Let me just take a look at the fund documents here and see what we got. We got a prospectus, final ETF facts. All right, let's pull that up. Let's pull that up and take a look and see if there's anything in here that can give me more information. There's not a lot. There's not a lot in here, unfortunately. So I don't know the moneyness. All right, and when I say moneyness, so when we talk about at the money and out of the money, so at the money is writing your covered calls with a strike price at the same price as the spot price. Out of the money means that you're taking it a little bit further out. You're giving yourself some room to pick up a bit of upside before that option gets cashed in. The moneyness is, well, it's the percentage. It's that percentage between, your strike price and your spot price and your strike price. So for example, if you had a moneyness of 3%, that means you're giving yourself a 3%, a little bit of room, 3%. Usually, it depends. It really depends on the fund. And some companies will move and adjust their moneyness depending on the market conditions. And that's what I love. I love it when you've got more of a floating because it tends to mean that that company is trying to catch up on some of that upside to give you that as well. So here's the thing with this Brompton fund. I don't know what that moneyness looks like at this point in time. Now, I believe, here's one thing I would probably recommend, Chucks. Adriano, so over at Passive Income Investing, he did interview some folks from Brompton on this one. And I don't know if they got into that. I know, I did watch it, but it was a while back. You might get a little more information on whether or not this is going to be, at the money, out of the money, slightly out of the money. I have a feeling that it's not going to be, I would say it's either at the money or slightly out of the money, just because you're looking at 40 cents. And that's a pretty big, when you look at the price, that will be over 15%. So I'm going to say they are pretty aggressive on these covered calls. It's going to take a bit of time for us to get an idea of how that's going to look, whether we're going to see some NAV erosion. I would hope that, we don't have to see NAV erosion. I would hope that, at the very least, if they're right at the money, I would at the very least like to see some flat movement, maybe slightly up, because keep in mind, if you're writing covered calls on 50% of the fund, the other 50% of that fund will still get the full upside. So I would like to see a little bit of movement up, but once we get some history here, if, for example, if its underlying assets are going up, but it starts going down, then that's when I start to have a problem, because I've complained about that's kind of what Canny's been doing. So, I, I need to see it moving with the underlying, and that to me is important because I said I love income ETFs, but I will not invest in an income ETF if it's going down while the market's going up. I will not do it because that to me that's where if you've heard the word bad rock, to me that's bad rock. Good rock means it's following the market. Now keep in mind, if the market's going down and it's going down, that's fine. That's exactly what you expect to see. So I'm okay with it doing that in that situation. All right. Ian says, let's see, I typed in copyright free goat videos in YouTube. Found some videos, nothing crazy, just goats being goats. Okay, cool. Rory, I had a white rabbit on my front lawn yesterday. That tells me a cool spring upcoming. I did have a rabbit out there yesterday too, but it wasn't white. It was brown. Actually, all through the winter, the rabbit that comes around here has been brown, which is kind of weird because I thought they mostly, all the rabbits I've met before the rabbit here, they've always switched their color of their coat to white in the winter, but not this one. Let's see. Yes, it is hypocritical because you shouldn't be okay with any having them rather than saying, oh, those who already have won't use them. Well, they'll use them to their advantage. So yes, hypocritical. Yeah, I mean, yeah, nobody should really have to. Rory says crude oil at $99 so far. We will soon get WTI will come online here in quite literally 5 minutes. In 5 minutes, we should have some information here, at least on WTI. Let's head over to Bitcoin for a moment. Oh, actually, I am on Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin actually is doing, this is one of the interesting things. With the ceasefire falling, one of the things you will see, we did get this drop from it. I actually almost expected it to be a little bit more than this, but we'll have to see how that's going to behave tomorrow morning. Wahibble, I watched a video with Brompton on Pagey. It's primarily out of the money covered calls. Oh, is it? Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Because yeah, I'm just thinking 20, because 40 cents, that's a lot. That's a lot of pay. That's a lot of payout. So, interesting. I would not have thought that. But keep in mind, it could be, I did say slightly out, and that might be where we're at. It might be slightly. So, because basically, the closer you put your strike price to the spot price, the higher you can get, the higher premiums you can charge for those options. So that becomes kind of a big thing here. All right, guys, we got 3 minutes, and we'll see what oil is going to do. Yeah, and they are paying about 20%. Yeah, that makes about sense. I was thinking it was north of 15, so 20%. Holy banana bread. Yeah. If they can pull that off and give you a little bit of upside at the same time, like so far, there's nothing. Like I want to be very clear. Like I've got nothing bad to say right now about Pagey, other than I just don't have the history. I'd like a little bit of history. And then I think we'll be fine. And, I would actually love to get Brompton on the air, on the channel, have a conversation. Let's see, follow the white rabbit. Yeah, absolutely. Hoppity hop hop. Yeah, I used to have a white rabbit by the name of Jupiter, but, rabbits are fun. Sometimes very, very fun. That's for sure. All right, guys, we got about 2 minutes. We got 2 minutes, and then we should start getting some live oil data. So right now, $90. Where do you think we're going to jump to? Where do you think we're going to gap to, guys? Because we're going to get a gap. We're going to get a gap. It's going to, here, let me actually put me onto the WTI. There we go. So yeah, we will see a gap. It'll be up here somewhere. throw in chat where you think we're going to gap to, and you got to throw it in chat fast because we got about a minute and 17 seconds. I will say that we're going to gap to, you know what? I'm going to say we're going to gap to right where Brent is at 96. I think WTI will gap to 96. So let's see what happens. We got 1 minute. All right, let's see. Roku says, reporting back, full of willies. Nice. All right, Rory's thinking 106. Big gap. It could be. You know, I'm thinking 96, but then move up pretty quick. But we're going to see here in about 40 seconds. Do you think Microsoft has bottomed out, or will it drop even more? And if there is a target price to go all in, I have the dry powder waiting. Ah, interesting. I feel like Microsoft doesn't have that much further to fall. I feel like they're down quite a bit, but at the same time, if, you know, they're probably going to go down a little bit tomorrow if we get a red market. You know, if the uncertainty over AI continues, it could certainly drag them a bit lower. But I feel like we're not that far away from where, you know, where they could be. All right, guys, we should have a gap here any second because WTI just went live. I don't see. Wait a minute. Yeah, I was just going to take a look and see. I don't see their new thing yet, but here it'll just take a minute. Wahipple is thinking huge gap up to 100 plus. All right, Carl says 98.38. TA saying 92. Rory 104. All right, well, we should get something here soon. I haven't seen anything move yet on here. I am seeing movement, though, on the gold and everything else, but we're waiting for that WTI. It should be starting any second. We should get some data here. All right. Rory says, looking at it now, yeah, whatever Rory, you know, I think the site Rory's been looking at has been a little more quicker than what we're looking at here, guys. Maybe I might have to switch. But right now, let's see. Rory started minutes ago, actually. Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah, right now we're still waiting. I have not. Geez, normally this moves pretty fast. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna refresh it. I'll just refresh it. Yeah, we can do that. We'll just refresh it just in case it's snagged up or something. All right, here we go. Let's pull this on in. Let's get back down here to the WTI. Oh no, it's just being slow. That's fine. I don't mind. We will find out here in a minute. Rory, what is yours saying currently? Mr. B says 96.57. All right. Maybe that's where we're about to head. Come on, WTI, update. Maybe if I have a coffee, that'll do it. Oh, so good. Let's see, Brent at 102. All right, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, right now 96, 102. Okay, so if Brent's at 102, then yeah, oil WTI should go up a little bit. It probably, I think it might be close to that 96 I was thinking of. It might be close to that 96. Yeah, anyways, oil is up. Yeah, exactly. Broadcom let's see, Broadcom is the way to go. They're going to be making all of Google's TPU, apparently. Yeah, I mean, Broadcom, I like Broadcom. There's a lot of stuff going on in tech. Like a lot of the big companies, I think you're going to be fine if you go with any of them. Just keep in mind, things could be rocky for a little bit. And, you know, if this war continues for a very long time, it could be a situation where you got to sort of hold on to your belts. So yeah, let me see here. Yeah, I'm looking here. Gold is currently down Silver's down. Copper's fine. Well, copper isn't reporting, so I don't have a report, so I can't say that. Copper might be down. Platinum is also down. So yeah, right now, yeah, we are seeing. So this is not. This is setting up for the TSX to be down. We're seeing that set up right away. WTI might help it a little bit. Well, not WTI, but just overall oil could certainly help it a little bit. Let's see. Ouch, metals are dropping. I got Vail, big divvy. Vail. I'm sure I've seen, all right, we'll come back to this in a minute. I'm sure I've seen Vail before. It sounds very familiar. Let me take a look here. Oh, okay. It's U.S. American Depository shares. I don't think I know this Vail, but for some reason Vail did sound familiar. But looking at the price here, so right now $16.96, but it's U.S. What type of dividend do these guys have? Well, not a big dividend, 3.34 quarterly. All right, let's take a look and see. But I imagine, oh yeah, well look at this. You're getting some really good growth out of it for sure. Vail owns our nickel mines. Oh, well then I have a feeling we're talking about two different things altogether. Let me just try typing in, let me see if I can find a Vail with a different ticker. Vail, no, I can't. So yeah, I don't know. If you know the ticker, Redwater, I'll take a look. But obviously I was looking at something completely different. It might be, yeah, that's why I was thinking Vail had something to do with materials, but yeah, this kind of threw me off for a little bit of a loop. Well, you know what? I can try Google. Let's just do this here. Vail and nickel. Vail nickel refinery. There we go. Vail nickel stock. Let's see. Vail 3. Okay. Could this be it? Let's see. No, look here. There is a Vail here as well. Why is it not coming up? That's interesting. So yeah, for some reason it does not. Let me pull it up in Yahoo Finance. So Vail SA. All right. Yeah, so yeah, 7.42% forward dividend. Interesting. I do want to see a couple things though. Let's see here. Return on assets. So return on equity 5.87, profit margin 6.47. It is profitable. Not as well. They've got a good amount of debt. It's not unmanageable. 61.33%. So yeah, this is Vail. There we go. I don't know why it doesn't come up in the TMX, but that's fine. All right. As silver is taking the elevator down. Silver. How bad? Let's see here. Yeah. So silver right now. Let's pull it over. Gapped down big time. Look at that. I don't know why we don't have anything on WTI. Normally, I mean, every week we've done this, guys. They have been pulling themselves up. So yeah, but silver is definitely coming down. Might be some silver buying opportunities tomorrow. DCA, yeah, Broadcom and Microsoft for the win. I would agree. Let's see. Navi says the longer oil provinces, the longer oil prices stay high, the bigger the problems we will encounter in the economy during coming months. Yeah, the bigger the oil inflation will be. So absolutely, it's not an ideal situation. I would like to see this conflict end. I was really hoping we would get something out of the peace talks, but just knowing the position of both countries moving into these, I was not very optimistic, and unfortunately, that's how it went. Yeah, exactly. Vail 7.4%. Gold is not far behind on that downtrend drop. Yeah, look at that. Ian, would be nice if ENCL bumped up the distribution, but they probably think the elevated oil prices are not going to stick around. Also, maybe the 26 cents was unsustainable until recently. Maybe, it's hard to say, but yeah, I don't think we're going to see any changes in that, but we'll see. Rory, good thing I get my gas from Edmonton. A WTI is showing 9% jump now, 105. Oh, wow. Yeah, and right now, look at this. There's like nothing moving on this chart. What's going on? And you can tell if you see the little dot. I guess if you're watching this on your phone, you probably can't see it. But the dot means it's not reporting. So right now, Brent and copper is not reporting, but WTI is supposed to be recording. But we're not seeing. I'm not even seeing any price changes in here. So I don't know why that is not doing it. Huh? That's weird. Everything else is moving. We're not using TV. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, yeah, some of you, it's actually interesting. When I look, here, let me show you guys. Why not? While we're waiting for that to move. All right, I'm gonna go into my analytics and we'll just get over to the audience. All right, just give me a second. I'm gonna pull this here over. New viewers, casual viewers. All right. Channels. Oh, these are the channels you guys watch. That's always funny. But here is, where is it? A device type. This is what I wanted to see. So this is the last 30 days. So here's a funny thing on 30 days. So 33% of you guys are watching from your phone. 32% are watching from a computer, and 25, this has been growing. 25% are watching on the TV. And then we got 8.5 on a tablet. I guess tablets are just not that popular. What other item? I just wonder. I had to click the more and see what else I have. No, I don't have anything else. I doubt anybody watches me on their watch, and I don't know if it would actually show up if somebody did that. Zenio says I should have doubled down on my energy oil positions on Friday. Yeah, that usually helps. I did. I did sell a little bit of XEQ. I just took a little bit of profit out of there and I moved it into ENCL on Friday when it was down. So that was not a bad move. Rory, still some ETFs will be at the discount looking at you, Canoe? Maybe. WTI is 104. Awesome. Oh, and look at this. Wahipple is in with a gifted Mountain Finance membership. And that is who won? 5W238. Sounds like a Star Wars droid, but I like it. I like the name. And of course, that is our Bay Street goat. That's our Bay Street goat. Thank you very much, Wahipple. Oh, and guys, just to sort of point it out, we did change the super rules a little bit. So today, we've already got a show tomorrow. So we don't have the Financial Express going. But if we did get 4 supers or 4 gifted subs throughout a show where it's not on, I'm just letting you guys bank it. So, if we got 2 more today, that would just throw one in the bank. And the next time we missed it, we would throw that show in. So just, just a one little change. Because I was just like, you know what, if you guys drew 4 on a weekend show, you need to be rewarded. So that is a new little rule. I guess a rule change, just a new tradition. I don't know. We'll call it whatever it is. Lance says, sometimes I watch you on TV and phone at the same time. I mute my phone and use it to comment. Oh, that's smart. Because it's not easy to comment on the TV. That's actually pretty smart, Lance. I like that. That works for sure. Awesome. All right. Oh, I can get this out of the way. Let me get the the YouTube out of the way. Oh, it's moving, guys. WTI. Look, here's the gap. So it gapped up to 97 is where it opened. And then it's come down. So I was close. I said 96. So it gapped to 97. Right now we're sitting at 96.635. Definitely interesting. And it's weird. I have heard, like some of you have quoted to me some WTI prices that are slightly off from this one. So it almost makes me wonder. Let's actually take a look here for a second, guys. I'm kind of going to bring up WTI again. All right, there's the bull markets, and there's the spot price right there. Oh, you know what? Let's actually switch to this one. I think this is the better one. I'm going to grab this one here. Let me grab it. All right, so this here is, oh yeah, this is definitely what I wanted to see. This is their spot prices. Oh, I headed it to the wrong place. Of course I did. How did I add that into the MC list? How did I even get into the MC list? All right. Can I actually change that? Can I change that to, let me see. Yeah, I want this here in my market close. There we go. And we'll get it out of here. Perfect. All right, let's go back here. I have a feeling that this is probably a more accurate one than what I've been using. So let me head back to, yeah, oh, I am in the MC list. What the heck is going on? What the heck is going on? All right, let's see here. All right, where is my other WTI? Did that disappear? Now I am absolutely, all right, I'm getting rid of this WTI. All right, I'm going to trash it. There we go. It's gone. All right, let me try this one more time. WTI. And this is the one I want right here. Okay, perfect. I think I got it. I think I got it now. Where is it? Where the heck is it? All right, there's my Brent. Holy banana bread. That is really, really weird. I'm going to try this one more time. Oh, boy. All right, right here. All right, let me put this plus, add to watch list. Okay, there it is. Perfect. I'm going to drag it up. All right, there we go. I think it's working. I think it's working. Let's just drag this up here. All right. Yeah, this here is, I think this is probably, I wonder, let me try something else as well, guys. While we're here, I got Brent in here. I want to just see if I have a Brent that's actually working right now. So Brent oil cash spot. All right, let's go with this one here, the spot Brent. This one probably. All right, and there's another Brent crude oil spot. This is from Velocity Trades, Active Trades. Brent spot in USD. All right, I'm going to try, because I'd like one that's active. Let me try this one. Let me take a look. Oh, look at this. This one does appear to be active. Okay. All right, let me drag this one up. Let me drag it up. Here we go. All right, perfect. All right, I like this a little better. However, this is very interesting. Very interesting, because I'm looking here. These are both Brent spot prices. WTI appears to have gotten ahead of Brent. Ian, not Ian, sorry. Rory, is that what you're seeing? Are you seeing that on what you're looking at? All right. Samantha says same. So TV and phone, awesome. BNN showed 104. Yeah, and I think that's where we're at now. WTI at 104. Silver minus 3%. And that's, yeah, we're seeing that as well. All right. Ian says, I'm using an app for the WTI information, but every time I mention the app, you don't read my message. It's not that I don't read your message. I think your message gets destroyed, Ian. Yeah, because I have not seen any of the messages with you mentioning the app. So if you can mention the app without putting any kind of dots in it, maybe just the name of the app you're using. But I think we're probably good, because now I got Brent at 103 and it's active, and I got WTI at 104 and it's active. All right. Rory, IVM going to rocket down to $10 again, maybe? It might. It might. I'm, and I'm actually kind of expecting it to open much lower. I'm actually counting on it. Pathfinder, can't wait to watch on my watch. That'd be funny. I don't know if you could. Can you watch a YouTube? I guess you probably could. Rory, 104 for crude, 101 for Brent, but it changes every. Okay, yeah. So I think we're right then. I think we're pretty close. I like it. All right. Yes, I don't think you are skipping on purpose. Yeah, no, I don't. I try not to. I try not to. But there we go. Holy cows. All right, guys, if you got your last minute questions, we got about 10 minutes left on the show. Let me know if you got any last minute questions. We'll hit them all up. Lance, I just discovered the ETF PPLN. I never heard of it before yesterday. Gonna pair it with ZEO. Really? You've never heard of it before? At all? I've mentioned it many times. In fact, let me, whoops, that's not it. Give me a second here. I am trying to find, whoops, I got to do this here. All right. Here we go. I'm going to drag this over here. All right, so here is the 0 to 100K challenge. We go down to the P section. Here we are, right here. PPLN. It is currently up 28.77% total return in the challenge. But so it is the Global X equal weight Canadian pipelines. So I do like this one. So they're, of course, holding. You got Enbridge, you got Pemina. There's a few others in there as well, of course. But yeah, I do like this one. So yeah. And so PPLN, definitely an awesome one. Oh, kind of curious here to see, look at this. Extendicare still holding first place, 143.82% total return. I'm loving it. I am loving it. Awesome. All right. I tend to daydream a lot. It's actually funny. Somebody was talking about daydreaming on a YouTube video. I was watching it earlier on the weekend, and so I went to ChatGPT and I was like, "How common is daydreaming?" And apparently it's very common. Like apparently almost everybody does it. I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." And it's probably true. You know, I mean, I know I will sometimes, you know, especially when I'm exercising. And exercising, a lot of times I might be thinking about, you know, sort of wandering off into different video ideas and how I could have improved a previous video, or how I might be able to improve a thumbnail or something. So yeah, I was like, oh yeah, I guess in a way. I never really counted that before as daydreaming, but according to ChatGPT, that's still considered to be daydreaming. All right. Ian says, I just typed out the name without a period, but it was still skipped. So the name of the app is Investing, then add the part that normally ends a domain yourself. So we'll like investing.com, I assume. Okay, interesting. Let's see, I have plans in an hour, going to have to start getting ready. Yeah, we're almost wrapping this up here, but let's just take a look at this over here. Investing.com. I'm just going to pull that up. Let's see here. Okay, let's see. No thanks. I don't know what that. Okay, so I take it real-time commodities. This is probably where you're going at. All right. So yeah, all right. There we go. So here is another option, guys. At investing.com, you can go to real, and this has a lot more than what I have on my thing. Like, take a look. You got natural gas, heating oil. You got Dutch natural gas, copper, nickel, soybeans, cattle, oats. Okay, pretty cool. Pretty darn cool. All right, there we go. Investing.com, guys, if you want to pull that up. There we go. Awesome. I'm liking it. Whew. So tomorrow, oh boy. Yeah, if these prices stay up, and here, let's get back to the main one. I think if these prices stay up above 100, we'll definitely see some red in the market tomorrow. And we're already seeing, we're seeing the price of metals, so we don't really seem to have a counterweight either. So it looks like, yeah, it looks like we could have a pretty red day tomorrow. Now, does that mean it's going to be red all day? No, it probably means that we'll at least I think the first half of the day will be red. And then if, you know, maybe if we get a little bit of the U.S. sort of pulling back on the whole idea of a blockade, then maybe it might calm things out a little bit. We might see a little bit better in the afternoon, but hard to say. It's hard to say. Now, oh, I know one thing. Let's quickly Let's head over here for a second, guys. And coming up this week, let's take a look and see what we do have coming up this week. Well, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to come in here. Oops, here we go. Reports. Let's go to the Canada calendar. All right, here we go. So coming up this week, let's see, we've got some manufacturing sales. So yeah, we don't have a lot on the Canadian side. So we got, well, motor sales, that's really not going to impact things too much. Foreign security purchases, building permits. So yeah, it's not a lot of bad stuff happening this week. What about on the US side? Let's take a quick look. Pull up the US calendar and see what we got coming up. All right, we got home sales. All right, we got PPI. So PPI is the producer price index. So it's kind of like CPI, but it's the producer. So it's more wholesale. It's basically what you call wholesale inflation. That's coming up. What else do we got? Some import data, industrial production. Okay. And a little bit of some talks. Fed president talks, all that fun stuff. So not even that bad of a week in the U.S. other than, of course, the geopolitical stuff. That's all in its own. It's all in its own little category. PPI could certainly worry people a little bit because I think we're going to see. I think we'll see a little bit of oil inflation in there as well, and they're actually kind of expecting it here. So when you look at PPI. Let's see, where's the year over year? Let's see here. So they are expecting it to be coming in at what, 3.4%? So yeah, we'll see. And then core coming in at 3.5. We'll see what that looks like through the week. It could cause a little bit of uncertainty, but I think the war will be the big driver. Big driver for sure. Let's see. Yes, that's the place. I was using the app. Oh, okay. There we go. No problem. All right, guys. Holy banana bread. All right, let's go back to big screen. Another fantastic show. I love these weekend shows. We will be back here tomorrow for the market close. Let's see what tomorrow brings in. It could be very, very interesting. All right, guys. Until then, enjoy the rest of your day. If you're a channel member, by the way, tomorrow you will be able to see the next video a day early. And I can't wait. All right, guys. Before I go, I have 2 words I did want to end the stream with. And they are, well, you guys know. It's bye-bye.